anyways,
we're at a Baker's Dozen this week.
Baker's Dozen, number 13 of Reblogatog since we started. So we're into our 4th month. Yeah. That's 1 quarter.
That's a quarter.
That's a quarter. 52 divided by 4 gets us in that neighborhood. So there it is. So anyway,
exactly
we're back.
13, yes.
And I'd like to say that I promise this is the last week we talk about companions, but so far I've lied every time I've said it. But we have to be getting close to the end of the discussion because
we're starting to get we're about to roll into previews for Core 21.
Yeah, so
new discussion has to start.
Anyway,
soon.
we will be talking about them in a little bit. So just hold your horses and stay tuned in because we are gonna.
I know you tuned in.
Kind of wrap up that companion discussion this week.
You tuned in for your weekly companion update.
Yes, yes. So anyway, we're going to start off with an easy one.
Yeah.
Will we see Miracles again in a standard set? I would put Miracles as an 8 on the Storm scale. So that's pretty high. That's pretty high. But it's up there. But it's... We've had 9s before.
Right.
So it's possible.
It is possible.
And then I guess we'll go ahead and do this one because there might be a couple more related. And it's related to what they did with Companion. But if Standard's power level is being pushed again, well, we've been talking about Standard power level.
A lot, obviously.
What are the odds of seeing powerful reprints come to Standard? Specifically, I have Lightning Bolt in mind. Pushing certain areas of Standard is not the same as pushing all areas of Standard. Also, us accidentally allowing a broken card in the environment because we misjudged its power level is not an invitation to bring back broken cards of the past. So, I know that sort of dashes some of your hopes, but he never says never.
It's not broken.
He never says never.
Lightning Bolt isn't broken, though.
Maro never says never.
It is not broken. It's just good.
It's too good for Standard. Even the new Standard, apparently. So, should we just get the monkey in the room off our back? And just go ahead and do it? Let's just go ahead and do it. Where is it at? I'm looking for my proper color coding here.
Right.
Alright, so... Where is it? I thought I had it. Green. There we go. Green. Green is where I'm going.
Green.
I color code these for ease of use, and you see how easy it was. Hey, Mark, with the statement that y'all are willing to change how the companion mechanic works as printed on cards. All right, so let's stop right there. If you don't know, where have you been?
Right.
Besides a BNR announcement, there was a companion morph this week.
This question was asked the day before that happened, though. So it hadn't happened yet, but this question was asked the day before.
Yeah, but I just wanted to get these in because this is from the past week.
Yeah.
But they did change the mechanic.
Right.
Unprecedented in Magic history. The closest thing I can come up with is the legendary super type being changed multiple times through Magic's history.
Right.
But anyway, they did change it. Now it costs 3 generic mana that you have to pay at sorcery speed in order to put your companion into your hand.
As a special action.
As a special action.
It cannot be interacted with by any means, from what I've read.
Yeah, it's like Morph. So Morph is a good comparison.
Morph is a
special action.
You can't do anything to something.
Playing a land is a special action.
Yeah.
You can't, as I'm playing my land, you can't say, wait, I responded. You can't respond to it. The land happens.
Right.
All right, so, would y'all finally be willing to make the Nephilim cycle from Guild Pact legendary?
Every time.
We need some more 4-color legends. I know you said before that you regret them not being legendary when they were originally printed, but were or are not allowed to errata them. It seems like less of an errata to add 1 word to 5 cards than it does to change how a mechanic works. Us dealing with companions is a special thing and not a precedent to making more changes. So he said this on a couple, and I think this is the only one I kept, about it not being a precedent. Don't take this as like, hey, we're willing to just change all the stuff you already know.
But every time there's somebody that's going to ask about them Nephilim. I tell every time.
Yes, every time. Hey, Mark, I know I can't fully articulate my argument in one Tumblr post. Instead, I will say I always appreciate what you do. When you change a mechanic, you alter a bunch of things like people's excitement for the mechanic, their investment searching for the cards with that mechanic, and every card using the mechanic, that even the ones that are not causing a problem. When WotC changes a mechanic to affect competitive, it to me at least feels like they do not care about people running those cards in casual. Now, before I even read the rest of this, it's casual. Play what you want. I think he gets that, though. Companions was a unique problem, causing problems in not one, but numerous formats. Our goal with the change was specifically to address tournament issues while still allowing the companions to be playable, especially in casual play. Now, as I may have said before, I should have said, but I keep reiterating, for casual play, you can do whatever you want. If you and your friends like to sit at home with 400 card decks, 600 life, draw 4 cards a turn, have unlimited mana, no lands in your deck, you can do it.
Yeah.
You can do exactly what you want. Know that when you go out into the world, nobody else is going to play that way. But you can do it if that's how you have fun. So its impact on true casual play is minimal. A lot of casual groups adopt normal standard rules.
Right.
But you don't have to. You can have a house rule. So, to continue, why was Companion changed the way it was? It doesn't seem like it changes anything about how decks play Companions, especially Lurrus decks, since Lurrus decks don't tend to cast Lurrus until they need the ability to catch stuff from the graveyard. He said the goal was to lessen their impact without making them useless. Now, I don't think this person's been around long because they would understand that 3 additional mana, basically Lurrus costing 6 instead of 3 is a deal. Okay, yeah, I can take off a turn to put him in my hand, but I got to wait a turn to cast him, or else I got to have 6 mana on 1 turn.
Right. I don't have the money or the cards to play Vintage, but I can imagine the line of play with Lurrus possibly used to be you could turn 1, Black Lotus, crack your Lotus to play Lurrus as your companion, and then replay the Black Lotus to start whatever else you wanted to do. Start your turn. That's just not even possible.
Now you can crack your Lotus to put Lurrus in your hand.
Yeah, you can't just start a chain of ridiculous.
But if you got a land and a couple of Moxen, you can go ahead and cast him and get that Black Lotus back. Substantially more hoops.
A lot more hoops.
A lot more hoops. Hi, Mark. I know that's way outside of your expertise area of work, but can you share your opinion about the companion mechanic power level rule change? It is pretty unique occurrence after all.
It is.
He says it was a challenging problem which required a unique solution. I was in on the solution, and I think it was the best choice of the options available. Now, he doesn't go into the options, but there were multiple places, because I didn't keep them all.
No.
There were multiple places where he said that all of R&D was in on this.
I imagine.
They all discussed it, and they all figured out what the best route forward was. One more thing, and then I think, unless I messed up, we're going to get past Companion for today, all right?
I believe so.
3 mana and sorcery speed was maybe too harsh. I just can't play these cool fun cards in Commander anymore. They've been rendered totally unplayable.
Totally.
For Commander.
Right.
He specifically calls out for Commander.
Right.
Now, without knowing anything else, because I don't, he must be thinking CEDH.
He must be.
Which, again, is a different beast. He says, we tested the new rules, and there were companions we believe will see play in Standard.
Yes.
Commander is a much slower format than Standard. I think you'll be pleasantly surprised.
I would agree.
Yes.
I believe what they did, the rule change, I mean, I think they'll still be playable in Standard. Obviously Commander, but yes, they're pretty much out of the book for anywhere else at that point. But I think they're still just fine in Standard.
So, the whole Companion thing kind of spawned a little bit of stuff even before they gave the ruling.
Right.
And that's when we were talking about the lightning bolt.
Yeah.
But there was a couple about another subject that comes up from time to time. Do you think that there is a way to balance Phyrexian mana so that it could come back in a hypothetical return to new Phyrexia? Like only using it for activated abilities or combining it with normal colored mana symbols so the cards aren't as splashable.
Yes.
Maro says, I don't think Phyrexian mana is off the table. It just comes with a lot of baggage that has to be accounted for. Baggage.
I believe the number one thing I'm going to go with on there is that, yes, it has to have other colored pips in the mana cost, so it's not just free.
And not just free.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'll pay life all day.
Or if it is free, then it's going to be substantially reduced in power level.
Yes.
You know, pay 2 life, and I don't know what that would be worth. You definitely shouldn't draw a card for it and stuff like that. So
I'll take that card, though.
the follow-up to that, I believe there's just one follow-up on that.
Yeah, just the one follow-up.
You mentioned that Phyrexian mana is unlikely, but not necessarily off the table. In the hypothetical case that it does come back, are new cards that cost only Phyrexian mana, like Surgical Extraction or Gitaxian Probe, we can name them, and therefore can be played for free, off the table. Nothing is off the table.
Of course
but that is the most dangerous space for the mechanic.
Yes.
And as we were saying, maybe you can pay 2 life or 4 life and get, I don't know.
I don't know what you can get.
Maybe 4 life and a mana to draw a card or something. I don't know.
You got to put some regular pips in there that they have to actually pay mana. The free stuff, even the stuff that's not the super broken Gitaxian Probe and stuff, it's just mutagenic growth. Oh my god, guys.
Yeah.
2 life to pump my creature? Yes, please.
Yep, seems fine. All right, so we're going to move along. So here's a little bit of a wackadoo because we see all things when it comes to stuff on Blogatog.
Right.
I have noticed that in recent sets, White has had a lot of powerful and, in my opinion, unbalanced cards, such as All That Glitters.
I'm glad someone's finally said this.
God Eternal Ketra, Dawn of Hope, Heliod Suncrown, and multicolored cards like Dream Trawler, Lurrus of the Dream Den, Teferi Time Raveler, Winona, Joiner of Forces, and Zenith Flare. Has this been a coincidence, or is there a push in design to make a more powerful card pool for White? We have been focusing on White as there was a large public outcry about it. Now, the very next day, every single time you actually predict your audience perfectly, it fills me with profound sadness. I've been reading complaints that White is weak for the past year, and as soon as we have a couple sets with just a few pretty good White cards, there's complaints about White being too powerful. Any prediction on which color people will complain is too weak next? It will be the color that's being played the least.
Yes.
That is super accurate.
Yep.
So once we have, well, I don't know. I guess we've got Arena and online, but once we have Paper Magic for sure again, we'll have some assessment, and probably before then. Once we get some of these bigger events kicked off online that they're going to do with Arena and so forth, we'll get some people going, oh, that deck didn't have hardly any red in it. Red's too weak. They need to make it more stronger. Or what did they do to black? Black's pretty weak now. Why don't they make better black cards? Somebody will get you there. Somebody will get you there.
As long as they don't say it about green or blue. The Simic colors are in pretty good space right now.
They are. I'm not going to argue with that.
I mean,
love for green has come around, and I'm a happy man. So, it's all right. I found this one interesting.
Yeah.
My friend says he won't buy into another set or play another game until it's a Norse set.
I like the commitment.
Tell him Core 2021 is the most Norse core set we've made so far. Now, I don't know what that means.
It could mean very little.
I don't know how it's Norse flavored, but apparently there's some Norse flavor in Core 21.
We're going to see something from Kaldheim, because core sets don't take place on any one particular plane.
No, they use a sprinkling.
Or even one particular time period. We can see all sorts of things. So, yeah. I'll be excited to see. There's going to be, like, a Viking.
We will see.
There'll be, like, a Viking axe equipment or something. That's what we're gonna get.
I don't know. Maybe we get Ratatasker.
Oh, be nice.
Just as a one-up squirrel in there.
Right.
I don't know. That's what I have to hope for. That's the Norse flavor. You know.
Think it'll be white?
No. 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 It should be black green. Straight up. I'm not big on Norse, but I think that's pretty. It's
pretty close on.
It's a natural animal,
Yeah.
so it'd be green, and it's black because it. What is it? It's like a little mischief maker, right? It
Yeah.
carries secrets or something.
Yeah. Between the gods.
Yeah. So, all right. So next up, another little stream of things here.
Oh yeah, I have something to comment on this one when we get down to this one.
Any chance that we get a werewolf commander in any supplemental set? He said, would you accept a one-sided one? So, following up, assuming R&D is given the green light to do so, would one double-face card in a Commander Precon have the same cost as multiple double-face cards? And there were a bunch of talks about this, and I don't know if we've discussed it before. A double-faced card requires a dedicated sheet.
You need to be able to make a full sheet of double-faced cards.
That's why, normally,
yeah.
that's why he asked, would you accept a double or a one-sided one?
Right.
And then the last one that I have on this topic, and we'll go a little deeper at this point. Why do double-faced cards need a whole sheet? If you have the fronts of a sheet be all different, why can't the backs be different? Like mostly the regular Magic back, but one or two is double-faced.
Right.
The backs of Magic cards are printed differently, and I don't know how that is, but they're printed differently, and often printed at different times. We can't mix and match fronts and normal Magic backs on the same sheet. So, another question, which I don't believe I carried through with,
right.
but someone brought up, how did we get Nicol Bolas in a core set
all by himself?
Double-faced. Well, because he was so integral to the storyline, they made a cost commitment to do it. And the cost is another part of that.
Right.
When you have a double-faced card, you need two pieces of art. Two pieces of art means you got to pay for two artists, or one artist to do two pieces. You got to pay for two pieces of art in order to do that. So that's a cost. There's the printing cost, because it's not just the Magic back, but it's another piece of art.
Right.
And you got to pay the artist for that piece of art.
And if you're printing,
and you also have to design the other side, so there is some time in the designing of actually another card.
And I don't know a lot about this, but I would imagine something like Core 19, when they did that, and we had just the one double-faced card, I'd imagine that almost raises collating issues when you have one card that you're printing a whole sheet of just that one card. You then have to mix in with I don't know how the collation really works, but I feel like that's got to be a little awkward.
I think ever since 15, where they put the numbers down in the bottom corner, I think the collation isn't as big a deal as it used to be.
Okay.
I think that allows them to do a lot of collation stuff because of that down in that corner.
Right.
Where it's easily identifiable.
I just wasn't, one sheet that's all the same card.
Yeah, I mean, obviously they got to go into the randomizer machine or whatever they got there,
But when you have, like, just your normal sheet of rares or whatever, it already kind of, so I wasn't sure. But, yeah, one of the things I wanted to say about this is I think this is definite confirmation, early confirmation, that there'll be no double-faced cards in Commander Legends. Because I assume that's where we would get a werewolf commander. And if we're only getting it one-sided, that means there's not going to be double-sided cards in the set, would be my assumption. Because there's not another good reason to not do a double-sided werewolf commander.
Unless they were doing double-sided in the Commander Legends anyway.
Right.
Or something. So, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they spent their budget.
I don't either.
It's in bigger packs. It's going to cost more. So, because the packs are bigger, so they might have found it in their budget, since the packs are going to sell for more,
I just kind of
to put some double-face stuff in Commander Legends.
I just kind of took it as a side that there wouldn't be, because I assumed that would be the place we'd get a werewolf commander.
Man, I tell you, it is almost...
It's hard to guess.
We do have a werewolf commander. People just didn't like it.
That's true.
We already have one. So, all right. So we got some one-ups here for a while.
Yeah.
Do you think, and some of these may be sort of related, but not exactly, do you think that the chasing of profits is more important than making an awesome game? He keeps his answer brief. It's important not to think of them as competitive forces. I believe they need to coexist. We have to make an awesome game that makes money. The success of the two positively feeds one another. So, and it's been said before, and we've said it on here. If they don't make a game that's great and that sells, they don't make money. If they don't make money, they're not going to keep making the game.
Right.
It's pretty simple. That's just capitalism, and that's just how the world works. Have you ever worked on a game other than Magic, either professionally or as a hobby? Yes, Mark Rosewater has worked on other games, but they were all within the WotC house. Okay.
Yeah.
So
before he worked for WotC, he wrote
for Roseanne.
Yeah, and he worked in a comic shop or a card shop. I've heard him talk about on Drive to Work.
Yeah, in his early days. He actually recently has talked a little bit about buying Alpha in some of his Making Magic articles, or maybe it's his podcast.
Yeah.
He's been talking about when he bought Alpha and Beta and so forth. So very, very interesting stuff.
Yeah.
He's been with the game since the beginning, even if he didn't work there.
I've heard him talk about it on Drive to Work some back when he first started, and they were all figuring out the game, and all this stuff was going on, and then he started meeting people from WotC and et cetera.
So he's worked on numerous other trading card games at Wizards, including Duel Masters TCG, which he co-created.
I knew that one.
Transformers TCG, which he co-created.
Didn't know that one.
Star Wars TCG, and G.I. Joe TCG, which he also co-created.
Nice.
All those things he's worked on. So yes, experience with other card games.
This next one makes me laugh a little bit.
I got to throw the blue players a bone here and there, right?
Because Maro's on the board. You don't hear that often.
It feels sad being a Jace fan. I feel like we haven't seen him in so long, and I don't even know when we can anticipate seeing him again. I don't often get complaints that we're not making enough Jaces. Fear not. We will make more.
Yeah.
That's a promise. He is the poster child. I mean, they named their font after him.
Yeah,
it's the Balerian font.
I was about to say, I don't know if I've ever seen somebody complain about not enough Jaces either.
If anybody in the universe of Magic has a guarantee of not getting offed, it's Jace.
Yeah.
Oh no, Jace has to. It doesn't matter. He's not gonna die.
The worst thing that happens to Jace is he loses his memory again. And
yeah, big whoop.
That's just normal. That's just every day.
All right, so hey Mark, since Standard's ban list will now have a card that could be cast for free.
Yep.
A card that let you cast multiple spells for free.
Yeah.
And a creature that was banned because other cards let you cheat it into play for free. Will R&D once again back away from making powerful cards that let you cheat mana cost? It's an important lesson we should take to heart. No kidding.
Yeah.
I mean, one of the problems, one of the reasons we talked about, I think, last week, that they got chewed out in Urza Block was the free spells.
You can't... The game works because of the mana system. When you're like, forget that. It don't work no more.
You can't cheat the big numbers.
Right.
I mean, a bird or something here or there, Llanowar Elf, to ramp a mana, or an artifact that ramps your mana. Those kinds of things, we can work with those. But when you start, like, doubling up mana, it makes it a little different.
Yeah, Nissa's still legal. They did it. Not even talking about bans right here, but...
She's too close to the end of her cycle. I don't think they're going to ban her.
Well, fair enough.
Wilderness Wreck.
Well, yeah.
A lot of people wondered why they didn't hit that.
Because of Teferi.
Yeah. Well, Teferi is the poster boy for Core 21.
Right. Well, I mean, Teferi Time Raveler is why Wilderness Wreck is okay. There's Teferi to keep it in check, because you can't cast Evidence and Speed. Ha-ha.
Oh, okay. Sure. That keeps it in check. All right. Cool. Thank you for answering. Out of interest, have you guys ever discussed having cards only for Standard and Pioneer and never have them legal in modern and older formats? That way you can push the boundary of card design but not disrupt the older formats as much. There are probably a lot of other issues, though.
Yeah. Yeah.
So let's make Standard and Pioneer more broken than Vintage and Legacy. I think that's what he's saying.
That is exactly what he is saying.
I think most players would dislike not having access to the new cards. Also, you do get we're trying to sell new products to as many players as we can. Once again, it's money that makes the world go round.
It is.
It is a profit kind of business. It is not, just because.
Just because.
Mutate being able to treat a stack of cards as a single entity feels kind of similar to how phasing acts. I don't think phasing is too complex or weird for present-day Magic. Could we see it make a comeback in a standard legal set one day?
That'd be cool. Phasing was interesting.
He uses his pat answer,
Right.
I never say never.
Right.
Which pretty much means never,
Pretty much.
but he never says never.
Exactly.
So,
Phasing is one of those very
I don't give a shit.
interesting. It is a little
Tired of
complex.
flipping that
to
table too.
have
We're about to start having that be our backdrop. or
triggers
something, I don't know.
and checking.
Just because I come in here 15
where
minutes
they are
early
and when
just
they
to get on
re-enter
this
and how they
set.
re-enter.
Right.
It's a little-
Studios 1 and 2.
but they don't
I'm
re-enter.
rolling.
That's right. They don't
It's a little
re-enter.
slice and
Normally,
dice
they don't
or
actually
whatever.
technically even leave. They just stop existing
So-
and then
They're
start
invisible.
re-existing.
We need a good intro for this.
Because they don't lose
and they
counters,
they
they don't-
reappear before you're
I haven't tried
untapped.
writing one.
So
Yeah.
it's an
I might
extra
be
step
closer
gets
on
added
one
with
for the other
phasing.
Yes.
It's in that gray zone
yeah.
between turns
I'll
and
work on
poof,
that.
they're back.
Yep.
So yeah, probably not, but never say never.
Every now and then in a supplemental set. I mean, a few years ago we got Fairy's Protection. Funnest card ever to play in Commander.
And I don't know, I might have known this, but maybe I didn't. Today's my birthday.
I didn't know this.
May I request trivia on the Vidalcan and the possibility of them receiving tribal support? Thank you. The Vidalcan were originally created to be a
Yeah, just like
substitute
before
for
Ikoria,
Merfolk.
when we were
Ikoria
in
temporarily
lockdown,
stopped
and he
making
wanted to
them.
give us.
They value
something to keep
knowledge
our brains
above all
moving.
else and have 4 arms, although we've done 2 armed versions. Happy birthday.
I didn't.
Something that sounds familiar, but I'm not sure if I knew that.
Right,
one.
I mean, remember we first got Vidalcans, at least I believe we first got them in Mirrodin. First time we went to Mirrodin was the first time we had seen them. At least that's the first time I remember. Because I was still playing them, but I don't remember that we weren't getting Merfolk around that.
Maro
I
has
didn't
brought
really
us a
see-
teaser list for Core 21. So that's the last thing we're going to do today is we're going to go over that. So, it has a lot of exciting new cards, including, and we're going to give you, I don't know how much you dug into this, but I dug into them a
I
few.
dug a little bit on some of them.
And I forgot to bring over a Chromebook or something here
Oh.
to pull these up. There are, even though official spoilers haven't started, there are a few spoilers.
There's
Previews haven't started.
Right.
There's some spoilers, so I may allude to them briefly. So,
I think a couple of, I don't know the answer, but I think a couple of them, maybe the content creators didn't get the memo that they weren't supposed to do their previews yet, because a couple of them are pretty high quality images. So
I'm not sure. If you didn't know, depending on when you're seeing this, Wizards did postpone. They were supposed to start today on Thursday. When we record this, you'll see it next week when Alan gets it uploaded after he does some stuff, whatever he does to it. You know.
stuff I do. I do stuff.
But in honor of George Floyd and the National
Day of Mourning.
National Day of Mourning, they decided to hold off and wait till tomorrow. So, anyway, back to the list. A brand new planeswalker from a plane we've visited, and I've seen the image for it. His name is Basri.
Basri, yeah.
Basri, he's white, mono white.
I'm gonna take
that has to be who he's talking about.
Yeah,
So that we already know that one.
I'm gonna guess. My guess is it looks like he's from Amonkhet. The name's kind of Egyptian sounding. The armor looks Egyptian. There's sand in the background.
He looks a little bit like Gideon 2.0. I don't know.
He didn't turn into a creature.
No, he doesn't do that. But he's mono white, so I'd say that's the replacement for Gideon, maybe.
Probably.
In that respect. A card that lets you draw half of your library.
Huh.
So I got to thinking, and Traumatize, if you guys are familiar with that, mills half of your library
Yes.
for 2 blue and 3, I think it is.
Yes.
So 5 mana, but drawing half your library doesn't seem blue to me. I know blue draws cards,
Right.
don't get me wrong. But I think this is going to come with substantial payment.
It
might be on a creature, it might be a spell, but I think it has to be something black and it costs life.
Yeah, that would be it's going to cost a lot of life.
Like, pay all your life but one, draw half your library or something. I mean, it's got to be substantial.
It's got to be substantial.
It's got to be like you're digging
Right.
for the answer and you're willing to pay however much life you got, leave yourself at one. Or something. It's got to be substantial. I think.
I would agree.
That's my take on it. A +1/+1 tribal lord for a creature type that's never had one. This is a creature type with over 50 cards already in print. I did a little research, and there are other things that'll fill in here, but I've got two choices. I'll tell you the one I'm hoping for first, to be honest.
Right.
That's Spider. Spider doesn't have a tribal lord that I could find, unless I goofed up. And Spider has 56 cards.
Right.
Okay? And then I was shocked at the second one, but because I know Jumpstart's coming, and because I know there's some talking about hounds and dogs and all that, and there's actually basic lands with dogs on them. I saw an image somewhere.
Oh, nice.
I saw an image. I think Hound might be more likely, but I'm on Hound or Spider for this one.
Hound or Spider seems pretty good.
There's 70 Hounds in Magic. 70. More than Spiders. I was kind of shocked at that.
Me
but
too.
Spiders are all green, and Hounds are spread across multiple colors.
Right.
There's black Hounds, red Hounds, white Hounds. I really wanted it to be Fox. We've had so many Foxes lately.
We've had a lot of Foxes.
But we don't have 50 Foxes.
We don't have 50, yeah.
It was maybe 30 or something,
I was
if I
going to
remember.
say, yeah.
So I'm on Hound or Spider.
I'm going to
I think Hound has a better likelihood because of the other info I know. But I'm on a route for Spider getting a lord. A character with a Vanguard card and a legendary creature card gets a second of the latter. Because they're not doing more.
Yeah, I was going to say. I'm pretty sure it's not a second of the former.
So I did some research on this one.
I saw that.
I took a list. I went down through it. And all the ones that didn't have a legendary card, the Vanguard cards, crossed them off. All the ones that had a recent first legendary card, I crossed them off. Because Commander, they've been putting them in Commander the last few years. And even I crossed off one that was actually from like 4 or 5 years ago. But all of them that had got their first one within the last few years in Commander, I crossed them all off. That left me with this list. Baron, Hannah, Karn, Meraxis, Aurum, Rofellos, Selenia, Stark, and there's a reason I didn't put this one in alphabetical order, because this is going to be my pick. Sliver Queen.
You still think they're coming, don't you? You think that's the tribe we're getting support for is Slivers?
No, I think the tribe we're getting support for. I don't know. I'm just gonna go Sliver Queen. It throws a bone out there to the Sliver people, even if there's not a lot of Slivers in there. And they can't reprint Sliver Queen, so we get a new Sliver Queen.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like Karn's a no-go, because I feel like it would be backwards, that we've gotten several Planeswalkers.
Planeswalker, yeah.
Yeah, to go backwards to a legendary creature. But
I'm on board for Rofellos.
Rofellos would be cool.
I'm on board for Rofellos.
Yeah.
But I don't... I mean, some of these, their original ones are horrible.
Stark?
Aurum, Stark. Meraxis. I mean, most of them are horrible.
Most of them are horrible.
Hannah wasn't horrible, but...
No, Baron wasn't... He just tapped creatures or something, didn't he?
Something like that. So anyway, I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to pick Sliver Queen. We get a new Sliver Queen in the core set, which would be weird. That'd be a 5-color card, but the core set isn't exactly as simpleton as it used to be.
And they've been more...
And they're aiming at Commander.
They've been more into printing 5-color Commanders more often.
Yep. All right. This one is a card with 31 different options.
Jesus Christ.
It's Baskin Robbins. I don't know. 31 flavors. All I can think of is it's like Super Charm with lots of X's and casting cost.
That's all.
And modes. That's all I can think of.
That's all I can...
I don't... 31 options on one card?
I don't...
You think that's on one side, or you think they double face.
I don't
Maybe
know.
that's a break. Maybe we got a double face in there so that they can get 30. How do you get 31 options?
I don't know. I mean, you've got to. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't either. That one's intriguing. A card that gains all activated abilities of a certain subset of cards in a place it's never done it before. And the best I can come up with, they're talking about the Exile Zone. That's never been done. You don't get stuff. Things don't get abilities from the Exile Zone, I don't believe.
No.
Not a ton of research on that one, but I'm going with Exile.
The stuff that does it from the graveyard.
Yeah, I mean, there's not that many zones. There's a battlefield. Are you going to get activated abilities from hand? Then it's
You're
not
revealing your hand on
so that's hidden information.
Yeah.
So
And you can't do it from your library for the same. I mean,
maybe the top of your library is revealed. I don't know.
That could be interesting. Top of library, maybe.
Here's one I didn't get to spend enough time on. A card that uses a non-evergreen named ability over 20 years old. So I was making a list, and I got a list here of maybe 10 or so that I thought it could be. I don't know. And cumulative upkeep.
I don't think they're going to bring that back. They could, but I don't.
Echo. Fading. Flanking.
Yeah, I don't doubt they're doing that.
Forecast.
Is that over 20 years old? Because I don't know what that.
I was going to look, but I believe so.
I'd better say these last
That's
ones right here.
That's pre-Mirrodin, right?
I don't remember forecast.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's before 2003, but I didn't look it up. Again,
Right.
I ran out of time on some of these.
I'm just saying that
Recover, Retrace, Unearth, and Vanishing is just some of the thoughts I had.
Unearth would be cool to get back. You know what? I'm going to go with Vanishing right here and right now because this is said about Teferi. He vanished away his entire continent. So Vanishing might not be...
That's a little bit like phasing, almost. But
He
Vanishing,
did phase it out. Phasing could be...
I don't know. I wish I'd have got more time to research.
You know, with it being said about Teferi, maybe it is phasing. Maybe phasing's coming back. There was a question about it earlier.
Maybe. I don't know.
This card, I've got to figure. I was trying to figure out like you can.
Oh, this next one?
Yeah, you can almost write the There can't be many more words missing from it.
It's a card with the words battlefield, cast, creature, converted mana cost, end of turn, exile, graveyard, and mana cost. It has mana cost and converted mana cost.
Yeah.
Whenever you cast a creature that enters the battlefield
with converted,
I don't know.
Like there can't be that many other
words
words on the
there's,
card.
There's a lot. Yeah, I don't know I don't know what kind of adjectives. And,
yeah, there's just got to be a few things to string those together.
Yeah, I don't know. An aura inspired from a cycle from Urza's Saga block. Now I don't know what the names of these were.
Right.
But I've got this one on another. So the first one I'm going to say is Festering Wound cycle. They were auras that got counters put on the aura, not the creature. Usually counters go on the creature. So the Festering Wound cycle, there is a cycle in all 5 colors that did that. And then the other cycle in the set that I found, and again, I didn't spend a ton of time on this one, is when the creature died, you got the card back to your hand, you could recast it. The most famous of which is Rancor.
Right.
So an aura inspired from a cycle. I'm actually going to go with the Festering Wound with the counter on it because that's something you don't see much of.
That's true, and they've been doing more.
And they did a Rancor-like card just a few sets ago.
Yeah.
It was green. It was horrible.
Something armor.
It was not good.
Yeah, something armor. I think it was.
So
it was pretty decent and limited, but that was about it.
A non-evergreen enchantment subtype returns. I feel strongly it's curse.
It's got to be curse, right? I mean,
it doesn't have to be curse.
Well, there's not that many enchantment subtypes, are that?
I didn't look them up because I was so strong on curse. I didn't even look for alternatives.
It makes the most sense.
I know that there's been not a lot. I've seen it on Blogatog where he's talked about it. It's a loved mechanic, and people want more of them. So I'm going with curse. And then he says there's a number of fun reprints, including a popular character first introduced in flavor text. And I'm full on board because I didn't know how to research this one. Full on board with Fibblethip. Full on board. We got Fibblethip in there.
That's what makes sense. Makes the most sense.
He's blue. Teferi's blue. I went along with that. They've been in the storyline together recently.
Right.
So I just went with Fibblethip. A French Vanilla Mythic Rare. Now, there's actually two of these. French Vanilla means that it only has abilities on it that need no reminder text, like flying and vigilance.
First strike.
Things, evergreen mechanics. So, and this is one of the cards that we had seen. It's Baneslayer Angel.
Yeah. It's the.
So that's kind of why I thought
it's the Frenchest of all vanillas.
It's very French vanilla.
Yeah.
It's Starbucks French vanilla. It's not local corner Jim and John's French vanilla.
There's like 5 shots of French vanilla on that card or something.
Like I said, I'm a little. This is probably the reason I went the other way before. But
Right.
a popular aura that started as part of a cycle, and I'm rooting for Rancor on that one.
Right.
There's not a lot of popular auras that started as part of a cycle.
There's not a lot of popular auras.
No, it could be an Umbra.
It could be the Umbras are pretty good.
It could be an Umbra. Could be one of the Umbras.
The Totem Armor's pretty sweet. So
it could be an Umbra. A card with a unique protection.
It could be another.
He could be using 2 things on the same card.
He could be. That could be a card that first got printed in a Commander deck. You think they'd put that in Standard?
We're getting to that.
Oh,
yeah. But I went with Baneslayer Angel, but there are a lot of possibilities, and I'm always thinking towards mythics and rares, not on the common, uncommon. But there's a lot of things that have protection from instants, or this is demons.
Well, we just had Haktos that has protection from everything other than either one converted mana cost 2, 3, or 4.
Yeah, and this is a reprint, so it's something we've seen before. There's creatures with converted mana cost 3 or greater, 3 or less. There's a lot of oddball things. Protection from a player.
Yeah.
We could get that. True Name Nemesis.
I'm pretty sure True Name Nemesis is what we're getting because of the next thing. Or not the next thing, but...
2 cards played in tournaments that have been reprinted over 20 times with at least 5 different pieces of art. I didn't get into this one at all.
It's not Lightning Bolt, apparently.
And I don't believe it's Birds of Paradise. I don't believe there's 5 pieces of art for birds. For birds. I could be wrong on that one. We were talking about it right before we went live here.
I think it should have been Lightning Bolt.
We're not live, but before we went recorded right here.
There you go.
All right. A card that's never previously appeared in a Premier set.
True Name.
Premier meaning a standard legal set. We learned that last week if you were paying attention. Man, there's just a lot of choices there.
And like I said, if you mix it with the unique protection, True Name Nemesis, do you think they'd print True Name Nemesis at a standard?
I don't know. What if they give us the Commander Teferi?
That's true, yeah.
Loyalty abilities at instant speed and standard?
Does War rotate?
And the fall. This one also is hard. A card that's never been reprinted before, which has a 2, 3, 5, and 6 all appear on the card. 2, 3, 5, and 6. I didn't do a search on this one either. This one seemed like this would take a while.
Yeah.
We're almost there. A Human Monk. There was 50 some of these, and again, I started picking rares, mythics, and stuff.
Right.
And I know a lot of people want it to be Monastery Swift Spear, but I don't believe they're going to put Prowess in the core set, because it is not the evergreen mechanic that they were looking for.
Right.
This is not the evergreen mechanic that you're looking for.
But it's so good.
So I went with Soulfire Grandmaster, and just as a backup, Elusive Spellfist. Because that fits with the Fairy's theme of casting instants, makes him unblockable, he gets bigger. Yeah. It's Prowess without saying Prowess on it.
That's, yeah.
Alright. And then a card from the Time Spiral Time Shifted sheet. And we did see in part of the spoilers that a Chroma Angel of Wrath was in the set.
No. Is that... That's the white one, right?
Yep. And it's card number 1 alphabetically on the Time Shifted
Which
sheet.
it probably, yeah.
So I didn't look any farther when I saw that. So that was pretty quick for me to come up with.
How many printings is that going to give that card?
I don't know, but it's still good.
It is.
Wise, right?
It's got All the abilities, pretty much.
All the abilities. Got all the stuff.
All the stuff.
All the things.
Well, I'm excited for Core 21. We'll start having stuff to talk about probably by next week. People will already be griping about the previews, I'm sure. So.
Oh, yeah. White is broken.
Yeah, they've just...
Blue got nothing.
I can't believe you're destroying Magic with X Mechanic or whatever.
Man, these cards would have went so good with these companions that are now no longer playable. You just hose standard, Watsy.
Right?
Or you're going to once you reveal stuff. Anyway, we thank Mark Rosewater for doing Blogatog and being so patient answering the questions. And hopefully we bring this to a few people who enjoy listening to whatever it is we just said.
Words.
So, word up to y'all. We'll see y'all later. Thanks.